So Salcedo, we have not seen in a while, but this one, the title of this one stuck out to me, and we'll do this one until, I want to look into a little bit. I might bail out on it because we'll keep checking in on that. But the title of this one, "The GOP No More, Only Varying Degrees of Democrats." This is a shot across the bow. Yeah, fart man more. Yeah. Fish delight in a stick. This is one of the areas where
it's as easy as click, claim, go. Get $500 cyber cash on select popular Chevy models.
Very exciting.
Chevy cyber cash to get $1,500 total cash allowance on all 2022 Equinox models.
Very exciting. Cool.
Find new roads at
all right, Salcedo says what?
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Chris.
Welcome to the Chris Salcedo Show. If you haven't noticed, I got a bunch of the signs behind me, and basically it's just like we couldn't figure out what a look for the show would look like, so we just put up a bunch of things that looked like there's a bunch of TV screens, and they all have my name on it. Oh, sorry, I gotta push play on this one because we're watching that.
Salcedo Show here on Newsmax. Americans are frustrated, angry, and fed up with the course
you've got,
that our elections are on, and I get it.
No, we aren't. Some Americans are, so you might want to say some. You can say some. You can say some.
Moves being made by both political parties have done little to reinforce our confidence in the voting process.
You gotta have the moves, baby.
But we can't ignore another obvious issue, the growing problem presented by the ruling class.
The Skilluminati. It's the Pentaveret people. They run everything.
The GOP.
Hold on. Dun, 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 dun.
No more.
We're just getting double David Duchovny hits tonight.
Only varying degrees of Democrat. That's our focus in today's preamble. First, let me allow room for actual conservatives who are forced to call themselves Republicans due to a
how terrible
lack of choices.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, it's so good. Do you see what's happening here? See this like active splintering going on right now? Oh, this is so good.
They are fighting the unified Democrat GOP uniparty. Sadly, they're not making the call.
By the way, this is the same. I guess he's just teeing up to have Jimmy Dore on the show.
Calls, the calls that maybe could have prevented that red wave that wasn't. I should start off by.
Huh? Wait. What?
Unified Democrat GOP uniparty. Sadly, they're not making the calls. The calls that maybe could have prevented that red wave that wasn't. I should start off by thanking some.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck he was saying. I don't know who was supposed to. In the analogy, was it the Republicans that were supposed to make the call, or the Republicans and Democrats who were supposed to make the call to prevent the red wave that wasn't? That apparently if they made the call, and what he's saying, they would have prevented the red wave, and therefore they did make the calls. I don't know what the fuck.
Some of my most reliable allies out there.
Your mom, and God bless her, and God bless, and your manservant Fredo, and of course MTG's oil boy.
The left-wing loons in the media. On Friday, I planted.
Maybe me.
Some bait. I knew they couldn't resist in anticipation of today's preamble.
Wow. So you're the Illuminati. Wait a minute. So you had a plan to set people up to think and say, I'm just going to jump ahead and say, nobody gave a fuck. No one.
I said that the Murdoch empire was Democrat-controlled. I chose my words very carefully.
And yet, no one heard them.
And I got the reaction I had anticipated. Mediaites shrieked, "Newsmax host, not joking, declares Murdoch empire part of the Democrat-controlled press."
See, I don't think they're shrieking. I think they find that ridiculous.
A guy who calls himself a journalist on Twitter, Aaron Rupar, chuckled, "The Democrat-controlled press, including the Murdoch empire?" Now,
he didn't really mean it, though. He was just trying to bait them into giving him some free press.
One would have to...
And it worked like a charm. Now everybody knows how sharp he is.
...be deaf, dumb, and blind, not to see the decided shift left over at the Murdoch empire.
No, they didn't shift left at all. They just shifted. Well, they shifted away from the L in terms of loser.
Not so much from the talk show hosts, but the editorial shift in the news division is obvious to everybody.
Everybody. I noticed it. Did you guys notice it? They moved left because they want DeSantis, the like, don't say gay bill, vaccine denying asshole. Because we're not, DeSantis is to the left of Trump because they're like, this guy's probably going to be the wrong. I mean, Trump's a fuck up, so they're probably going to go with DeSantis. I don't know. Which is, of course, according to Ben Shapiro, a cheering section.
Except Mediaite and a fake journalist by the name of Rupar. From the now...
Why is he fake? He's literally showing clips of you, dipshit. I wouldn't even call Aaron Rupar necessarily a journalist. Maybe he uses the title, but these days he's like a clip aggregator on social media. It's a huge gig. He and Rex Chapman basically have built their bones on that.
Now resigned James Murdoch, who was using his considerable family fortune to bankroll Democrats.
Resigned.
To the pro-illegal immigration editorial stance of the Wall Street Journal, to the obvious attempt to get rid of President Trump because he hurts Democrats' feelings.
No, because he hurts Republicans' chances of winning elections.
It's obvious to anybody except our pals at Mediaite and...
Yeah, Ron Filipowski too, exactly. Like that, I wouldn't necessarily call them journalists. We need a new modern word for that person, but we'll figure it out.
About what's happening over at Fox. What I don't know is...
your ass from your elbow? It's okay.
Mediaite and Rupar, are they that clueless? Or are they just hoping that their followers are? Or could it be that they have made this cottage industry of Fox hatred and they are just loathed to give it up? Either way, thanks, guys. I appreciate you making sure your left-wing audiences know about me.
Yeah, that you're ridiculous. Again, I don't even feature him that much anymore because it's so ham-handed. But I like the idea that this asshole is suddenly just like, they're all against us. It's you and me against the world.
You're a liberty-loving Latino. The last name is spelled S-A-L-C-E-D-O, by the way. But
Salcedo? Slackedo? We'll call him Slackedo.
Back to a Democrat control. I mean, come on, man. Paul Ryan, he sits on the Fox board.
Yeah, he's a Republican. He was a Republican Speaker of the House.
I mean, I think Trump's kind of a drag on our ticket. I think Donald Trump gives us problems politically.
All this is true. By the way, wow. I do not remember Paul Ryan looking.
We lost the House, the Senate, and the White House in 2 years when Trump was on the ballot or in office. And I think we just have some Trump hangover. I think he's a drag on our offices and our races.
That is materially true.
Democrats
ask your doctor about Salcedo.
Are afraid of America First, unapologetic pro-Americanism because of Trump. Thus,
no, they're afraid that he's going to lose more races for them like he just did.
Trump is out at the Murdoch empire, Democrat controlled.
All right. I guess basically if the enemy is Democrat, then, that word, not Democratic politicians or Democrats as people, if they're the enemy, then anyone who becomes your enemy must be one of them. Everyone's a Cylon.
But it's not just names like, Rove, Cavuto, Ryan, former Foxers like Shep Smith and Chris Wallace, Stirewalt, Goldberg, Hayes, who are Democrat-controlled. The current GOP brain trust is there, too.
Yes, they're all against us.
Here's Larry Hogan carrying the GOP's Surrender Caucus water.
Hogan was never a full-on Trumper.
Kevin McCarthy is working the phones. He wants to be Speaker if Republicans do take the House. Should he be?
I think most Americans aren't paying much attention to palace intrigue and what's going on. I know it's the focus of everybody here.
Well, it's a constitutional position.
But most
it's
people, the inner battle about who might be in charge. Look, I think the people on the far right really lost this election.
Whoops, sorry.
McCarthy and
why that jumped ahead. Hold on.
No, I
There we
think
go.
most Americans aren't paying much attention to palace intrigue and what's going on. I know it's
True.
the focus of
Well, it's
everybody
a
here.
constitutional position.
But most
It's a big
people,
deal.
the inner battle about who might be in charge. Look, I think the people on the far right really lost this election, and now they want to try to take that over. But it's going to be a very slim margin. Kevin McCarthy's got work to do. There's no question about it.
Yeah, that sounds really radical and crazy.
Also went on to say that Trump cost them the third election.
Why didn't you play that clip then?
Never mind the fact that the only people out there talking about, election denial was actually the vast majority of the biased press. Every Republican, including Trump-endorsed candidates, even Blake Masters, was talking about the economy, crime, inflation, gas prices, open borders, and every other
Yeah, but they were using talking points from like January.
catastrophe that has befallen this country since the Democrats assumed control. But what was the
We didn't assume control. Our party won everything.
GOP leadership doing? Mitch and Kev. Well, McConnell was
Mitch and Kev.
busy
When is that sitcom coming out?
talking down Republicans who weren't loyal to his surrender caucus. Just after the primaries, McConnell was out there trash-talking GOP victors because they were Trump-backed. But McConnell didn't stop there. Mitch, through his support and his
I don't have enough popcorn for this.
PAC's money, heavily supporting the likes of liberal Senator Lisa Murkowski, a woman who pledged she was voting Democrat in the 2022 midterm. Then there were defeated Republicans like Adam Kinzinger and Liz Cheney.
By the way, I'm of the mind, can I just say for a second, and he's citing the Epoch Times, which is fucking, all right, take that as you will. I think if Kinzinger hadn't actually decided not to run, because they were, if he'd have made it through his primary, which is the tough part, even if he had made it through as a squeaker, he'd have won. He would still be in office. Liz is different because of how small Wyoming is, but Kinzinger probably could have won.
Mitch was a
Hi,
full-throated
Jerry.
supporter of Liz Cheney, a woman who endorsed and campaigned against Republicans in support of Democrats, even the racist Democrat running in Arizona's gubernatorial race.
The racist, all right.
And then there was Kevin McCarthy.
Based on what?
After coming up with the most
Oh, by the way, but can we just enjoy this for a moment? He's going to shit on Kevin McCarthy as a failure.
uninspiring, lackluster, non-committal commitment to America.
Which this asshole, like everybody else at Newsmax, sold as like, this is finally, we're getting it.
McCarthy and the rest of the GOP chose to ignore it, knowing it was just a con job, that it read like a con job, and was designed not to inspire constitutional conservatives, but rather just not to tick off any raging leftists out there.
What? Well, then it failed.
Then McCarthy wandered around the country telling folks that he had no interest in impeaching Joe Biden for doing exactly what President Trump was accused of doing by Democrats.
What did we? I don't think that Biden has tried to manipulate Ukraine and denied them weapons that the Congress has already signed off on to get an investigation against Don Jr.
McCarthy went further, saying he
This is so stupid.
wouldn't even impeach Biden cabinet members, like Alejandro Mayorkas, a man who has lied to the country and to the Congress under oath about the border. Mayorkas
Because it's not a crisis?
knowingly lied about Latino border agents, saying they whipped illegal aliens, even though he knew they didn't.
No, they didn't use whips. They whipped them with their horse bridles. Yeah, okay. I'm bored by this dude.